This is another CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, with Marvazan, with Mike Molyneux. Obviously, guys, we're here tonight to talk about the Rob Gronkowski news. Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement Sunday, March 24th via Instagram. So now, what are the Patriots left with? Nothing. But that's not what we're here to talk about right now. The question is, and you knew this was going to pop up the second that he announced his retirement, Rob Gronkowski, 9 seasons. Is he the greatest tight end of all time? Marv, we'll start with you.
Oh, man, I had to go first, huh?
I was hoping it'd come to me. Thank you.
Rob Gronkowski,
tough.
Longevity is really gonna hurt against him. You know, he had 9 years in the NFL, but to be honest, maybe it was 6.5 years, and it was a dominant 6.5 years that he was healthy and he produced very well. And I think the stat that really bodes well for Gronk's argument is the 81 receptions in the playoffs and 12 touchdowns, which is the most ever in tight end history. And it helps when you have Tom Brady and you play for the New England Patriots. But when you look at a guy like Tony Gonzalez,
that's who it is. It's Tony,
who has double the receptions and double the yards of Rob Gronkowski. Just imagine that. Double the receptions and double the yards of Rob Gronkowski. You have to put some respect on his name and say that Tony Gonzalez is the GOAT at the moment. But if you want to flip it, I can also, because I'm conflicted. Yesterday I was with Mike and I said Tony Gonzalez is the GOAT. But if you ask me right now what tight end I would have in their prime or whatever, which tight end I would pick, it'd be Rob Gronkowski. He's the most complete, the most talented tight end.
That's a different conversation, though.
Ever play the game.
That's a different conversation.
But wouldn't that be the best, the greatest? Who are you going to pick? You're going to pick the greatest.
I'm calling.
You're not going to pick someone who has the most yards.
I'm going to refer to the thing is with Tony Gonzalez. It's not like he's even he was a great season after great season after great season.
That's true.
What I'm going to refer to Rob Gronkowski as is, so I'll start off with this. Tony Gonzalez, to me, is the greatest tight end of all time because of the longevity. Basically what Marv just said. But I'm going to call Rob Gronkowski the most dominant tight end of all time.
Yeah.
Top 2 most dominant player of all time. When he was on, when he was playing, the guy was unbelievable. It was a man amongst boys. It was like, I don't know if you guys, when I was younger, I used to grab onto my dad's leg and he would walk with me. That's what it looked like with these full-grown adult men trying to tackle Rob Gronkowski. He was the most dominant player of this generation, and I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close. When he was on, when he was in the middle of his prime, which is crazy to say because he's only 30 years old, when he was in the middle of his prime, he was a specimen to watch. Just ever since he announced his retirement, people have been coming out with highlight tape after highlight tape after highlight tape. Rob Gronkowski catch here, Rob Gronkowski touchdown here. It's been 9 years, which in professional sports terms really isn't that long. But you just look back and you're like, holy hell, this guy was unbelievable. He was the most dominant thing that has ever come across the NFL, at least as far as I've watched, because again, there will never be, I don't think there will ever be anything or anybody or any football player who comes close to Rob Gronkowski in regards to dominance. But the longevity thing, you look at Tony Gonzalez's numbers, it's almost disrespectful to say Tony Gonzalez isn't the GOAT because you look at this guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He played up until he was 37 years old. In the longevity thing, great. He played that long, but I was just looking at the numbers. What did he play? 17 years? Let me pull this up real quick. He
was productive late into his 30s still, yeah.
Yeah, 17 seasons total. And he played 16 games in 15 of those seasons. 16. He played almost every single game. He missed 2 regular season games. The guy was unbelievable. In 2013, his last season, he still had 83 receptions and 859 yards.
The Falcons wanted him back. They wanted him to play again the following year.
Why would you not? He is the greatest tight end of all time. And Rob Gronkowski, dominant, but I think he needs to add more to the resume, not in regards to championships, not in regards to Super Bowls, but own personal statistics before I were to put him in that category with Tony Gonzalez. I think it's close. I don't think it's up and far and away, but yeah, Tony Gonzalez, 17 seasons, only missed 2 regular season games. And I mean, that's so unbelievable. I'm almost questioning myself, but I mean, it's tough for me to even say it's close, but it's definitely close.
Yeah. I think you both hit the nail right on the head, especially Nick saying that Gronkowski is definitely the most dominant tight end of all time. That's without a doubt. But yes, because of Tony Gonzalez and those stats that you just stated right there about, 17 season and playing all 16 games and 15 of those seasons, I believe is what you said. I didn't even know it was like that. It's one thing to play a lot of seasons, one thing to play a lot of seasons and have good health. And Tony Gonzalez had a combination of both. And, believe me, we're not taking anything away from Gronkowski. What he did in those 9 years, but again, even like Marv said, in those 9 seasons, we're talking about dominant Gronkowski. It was really only 6.5. So, unfortunately, the dominant Rob Gronkowski's career is really only boiled down to like 6.5 great seasons. And that right there, it's amazing to say that he's, his stats are third all time and receptions or touches. It's crazy to say that he was able to compile that in really 6.5 healthy seasons. But even with that, obviously people go back and forth. Well, how many rings does Gronk have? How many rings does Gonzalez have? I guess that's the easy way out. Yes, Gronkowski has 3 Super Bowl rings. He played in 5, I believe. And the only reason why he didn't play in those other 2 is because the man, like a good portion of his career, wasn't healthy. So I think, Gronk, first ballot Hall of Famer, not even a question. Patriot Hall of Famer. He'll be in Canton in the Hall of Fame as well. But I think when people say he's one of the greatest and not the greatest, they're not wrong about it, because he definitely is one of the greatest tight ends, but not the greatest tight end. And that's no disrespect to him and his career, but that's just what it is.
Two things.
I got.
Go ahead.
I just got to throw this in. Patriots Roundtable is powered by betonline.ag. Go to clnsmedia.com/win and use promo code CLNS50 to receive 50% cash back on your first deposit. Guys, bet online, phenomenal. Betonline.ag. Go to it. If you guys love gambling, you're not going to regret this. Betonline.ag, promo code CLNS50. All right, Marv, what were you saying?
Rob Gronkowski, you could put a bet on this, is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without question. I know that's going to be a topic 5 years from now. He's going to be, 35 in the Hall of Fame, which is crazy to even think about. But first ballot, it shouldn't even be a question. What he did with the rings, the accolades that you all brought up, that's one thing. And 2, if he were healthy for most of his career, let's say he was healthy he had 9 healthy seasons.
He's breaking those records. He's breaking all those tight ends records.
He's breaking the record. Then I think you can say he's the greatest.
Yes,
of all time.
easily.
Okay, here's a question I have then. If you boil it down, Gronkowski's 9 seasons, regular 9 seasons, including injury, and then you take Tony Gonzalez's best 9 seasons, then who would you say?
Rob Gronkowski.
Not even close, right? Not even close.
Let's remember his second year in the NFL, he had 17 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The guy was just a monster.
Again, it's just the longevity part.
And if he was healthy that year, we would have beat those Giants in the Super Bowl.
His second season, 1,327 yards, averaged 14.7 per catch, and his touchdowns, 17 touchdowns. Unbelievable.
He was a monster. He was a monster.
You remember watching him and be like, because when he was drafted, everybody was like, okay, he's good, got back issues, whatever. And then we started watching him play. Everybody was like, what the hell?
He's a monster. Even playing with him in like Madden, I used to break records with him in Madden because the guy was just a beast. In Madden and in real life, he was unstoppable. I mean, it sucks that, I guess defensive players maybe the only way people could take him out is going for his legs. And because of that, it led to injuries, going for his legs and trying to take him out because you can't wrap him up at his waist or his shoulders because you're not bringing the man down. And going at his legs seemed like the best option. Obviously, he paid the price. And then, on top of the various other injuries that he's had, man, if you were to give 10 healthy seasons of Rob Gronkowski, if he were to retire today and you take his first couple of seasons where he averaged those stats that you just listed, Nick, and spread them out through the course of 9 seasons, like we were just saying, those tight end receiving numbers, touchdown numbers, even playoff numbers, broken, broken, broken. And that's in 9 seasons. That's how dominant he was in a short period of time. It's really crazy to think about.
You know what? You brought up Madden. Gronk was one of those wicked annoying players that Madden does this thing where they take the great players and they make them annoyingly great in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And
Gronk was that guy.
And you'll miss him by a mile, but his arm will extend and he'll catch it and bring it back in. He'll just one hand catch it.
You couldn't tackle him.
It was obnoxious. Yeah, Gronk sucked to play against in Madden. All right, Marv, anything else?
No, that's it, man. Gronk, we're gonna miss him in New England. Like, he was a model player. Everything you want. Yes, he was goofy and all that, but he played the game the right way. You can line him up everywhere. You know, he just did anything you needed for this team. I don't think he has like one blemish in his career. Maybe the Tre'Davious White thing, what he did. Was it last year or the year before? Well, yeah, that was the first thing you're like, whoa, what was? But he was just frustrated. He was frustrated getting held the whole game. But other than that, Gronk played the game the right way, man. We're gonna really miss him in New England.
He was off the field too. He was always a great guy. I mean, he was always just doing constant things. It sucks. So, like, when you talk about him, you just know what he meant to the Patriots fan base and just the Patriots team. Nobody wants to see this guy go, but you knew it. The back of our minds, we all knew that this was how it was going to happen. He wasn't going to have a long career. Back injuries coming out of college, back injuries through his NFL playing career, leg injuries. You knew that he was not going to last that long in the NFL. All right, guys, that is it for tonight's CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, here with Marv Zahn, here with Mike Molyneux. Guys, we're going to be back next week. Hopefully no other players retiring because the Patriots cannot afford that. CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable, Nick Qualia, Marv Zahn, Mike Molyneux. Guys, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.